Intel has unveiled its new Optane DC persistent memory modules, offering data centers what it describes as an entirely new class of memory and storage technology. The Optane DC persistent dual inline memory modules are based on Intel's 3D Point technology instead of DRAM. The forthcoming memory modules differ from the already available Optane SSDs, which also use 3D Point. Intel positions Optane DC persistent memory as a tier between DRAM and storage that will help accelerate in-memory databases in the data center. The idea is to cut latency by moving more of the workload closer to the processor. What is Intel Optane DC persistent memory? The Intel Optane DC persistent memory is an emerging technology where non-volatile media is placed onto a dual inline memory module and installed on the memory bus, traditionally used only for volatile memory, and this persistent memory is designed to exist on the same bus alongside volatile memory such as DRAM and often works in conjunction with it to achieve higher overall system memory capacity or to allow it to achieve better performance through DRAM caching. The key thing that differentiates persistent memory DIMMs from DRAM DIMMs is that the data stored on them can be retained when the system is shut down or loses power. This allows the technology to be used as a form of permanent storage like hard disk drives, HDDs, or solid-state drives, SSDs, but with memory-like latency. The main purpose of Intel's Optane DC persistent memory modules is to bring higher memory capacity closer to the CPU at a fraction of DRAM cost. Even with recent drops of DDR4 prices, high-capacity RDIMMs and LRDIMMs, that is, 128 GB or 256 GB, cost thousands of US dollars. Meanwhile, Intel's 3D Point memory used for Optane branded products is cheaper to make than DRAM, but offers a high performance and a strong endurance, so in many cases using Optane DC persistent memory instead of DDR4. Companies looking to capitalize on the performance promise of Intel's Optane persistent memory have been trying to vet the performance claims. Intel is bringing the previously server-exclusive Optane DC persistent memory to Cooper Lake and Ice Lake Xeon CPUs, including workstation-class CPUs, allowing developers the flexibility of utilizing Optane on the same system they are developing on, with capacities up to 512 GB per module, totaling up to 3 TB per CPU or 6 TB per workstation, for dual CPU systems. Optane dual inline memory modules for workstations will be accessible in memory mode, similar to standard DRAM, or application direct mode, similar to persistent storage. Support for Optane dual inline memory modules already exists in modern Linux distributions and Windows Server 2019. What is Intel Optane DC persistent memory? With the release of the Intel Optane DC persistent memory module, or just Optane DC PMM, this new non-volatile DIMM supports byte granularity accesses, with access times on the order of DRAM, while also providing data storage that survives power outages. This work comprises the first in-depth scholarly performance review of Intel's Optane DC PMM, exploring its capabilities as a main memory device and as persistent, byte-addressable memory exposed to user space applications. This report details the technology's performance,